Running, we are going to start our presentation. All right, so video is up and live and running. And again, we want to thank you all for participating this evening. It is obviously a unique and unprecedented year. Typically, we would have all families on our campus, and although that has not been possible, we are so excited that you are able to join us this evening. It's an exciting time for you and your family and your children as you guys are thinking about high school options. And I think one of the themes that you are going to see consistently tonight is that there are lots of fantastic options throughout Sacramento. And I think both PSAA and VLA have some really unique programs that work really, really well for certain students. And to that end, I want to start off with some introductions. My name is Kevin Dotson. I'm the Academy Coordinator at the Virtual Learning Academy. Ms. Gandhi, do you want to introduce yourself?
I was muted. I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. My name is Seema Gandhi. I am the PSAA Academy Coordinator, and I'm excited to be here tonight.
Awesome. We have our two college and career counselors. We can start off with Ms. Shank, Tiffany.
Hi, everyone. My name is Susana, Shank, Tiffany, and I am the 11th and 12th grade academic counselor for both the Performing and Fine Arts Academy and the Virtual Learning Academy. And we are excited that you're here joining us tonight. And Mr. Juarez?
Good evening, everybody. I'm the new academic counselor for 9th and 10th grade, both at PFA and at VLA. And it's a pleasure to join the staff in my first year here.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. If you have just joined, again, the video recording is live right now to YouTube, so a recording will be available. If you have any questions or concerns, please put them in the chat. We do have some people monitoring that, and we will answer those as we go through the slides, and there will be a Q&A at the end. So again, as we talked about, Natomas Charter School is a fantastic program. And I'm not just saying that because I work there. It's an incredible environment. It's very common in a normal school year. We're going through the hallways. It is safe. It's inclusive. And again, it's a chance for students to really shine and show their true selves. One of the oldest charter schools in the state of California. We've also received numerous distinctions from a variety of different sources, including those listed here: top 10 public high schools in the region, top 100 public high schools in California, and the SAC Business Journal ranked us as the #1 high school just a couple years ago as well. Next slide. Again, the idea with Natomas Charter and charters as a whole, if you're unfamiliar, is really to be innovative, to do something different that you don't get in a normal comprehensive high school. And both PFA and VLA has taken a spin on that. PFA obviously with the performing arts, and VLA with the unique hybrid program. And with that, in the supportive and inclusive environment, we've seen just fantastic results from our students. Nearly 100% graduation rate consistently year over year. Very excited that all students have the opportunity to take PSATs, traditionally for all 10th and 11th graders, although we've even explored now the SATs potentially being offered to some of our 11th grade students. SAT participation, as you can see, that the students going out and doing that on their own, 88% participation. You can see the average scores. In addition, you can see those students that are applying for college and the acceptance rate of those that apply. Again, we were recently recognized by the SECB as one of the top schools in the region in terms of preparing students for UCA to G eligibility. And our grads go all over the country. We've had students traveling from the East Coast up into the Pacific Northwest and all around. And what is fantastic is they continue to take a part of NCS with them and share, again, what has hopefully, what has made NCS so special with others throughout the country. Here are some of the colleges where some of our students have been accepted over the last couple of years. Again, a pretty extensive list, and as I said, all throughout the country. And I think that also speaks to the work that our college career counselors have done. Ms. Shank, Tiffany frequently will put on college events and bring colleges in, support students through the writing of their college application and cover letters. And so our counseling department has done a tremendous job preparing students for those next steps. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Gandhi. And before I do so, again, I just want to emphasize that with high school, lots of good options. And you really need to think, what is the best fit for my child? Both of us have fantastic programs that we offer here at NCS, but it may not be the right fit for your child. If your child wants a large comprehensive high school with sports, with an IB program, you want to look somewhere else. We don't offer that. But if you want, again, a small, inclusive learning environment, a real sense of community, an opportunity to feel welcome, supported, the opportunity to take college classes, perform in the arts, again, I'd argue that NCS is probably one of the best options out there. So, Ms. Gandhi?
Thank you. So as we kind of think about high schools and different options, one option is the Performing and Fine Arts Academy, and we really do pride ourselves on the arts. We offer a variety of different art options, from music, theater, dance to visual arts, and as Mr. Dotson shared, we are a safe and caring environment. And if you're looking for a school where your child will be supported, loved, and just helped through the entire high school journey, then the Performing and Fine Arts, and in particular just our school itself as a whole, is the place to be. I'm just going to give some basic information about the Performing and Fine Arts Academy, and also the academic counselors will also share some specific graduation requirements. Our requirements are a little unique, and so I kind of wanted to briefly talk about that as well. So what is our philosophy? So we really focus on wanting our students to have some artistic training and an opportunity to provide some rigor. And so we really do believe that both of these things are possible, and we pride ourselves on that. And so we really have a foundation where we take a whole child approach, and in order to do that, we take their passion and their rigor and combine it with a love of learning, and we really believe in that model, and we try to incorporate all of our arts with our core academic courses so that they're always connected. We try to have a theme for the for each semester. We really try to make sure that our students are seeing the connection between the arts and between their core academics. Our school and our academy in particular, I really do believe, is a one-of-a-kind experience. You will not get what you get at PSAA at any other school in the Sacramento area. We are unique and we're different by design. So just some particular, some facts and info. Our class sizes are relatively small. We have an extensive amount of student support and a college and counseling team. So I have our two academic counselors here with us today. We really believe in supporting our students in being college and career ready. And we also have an extensive social emotional counseling team. We have two on staff, and in addition to that, we also have additional interns as well. So we really are very supported, and our entire team it works together to ensure that our students are making progress academically and socially and also emotionally as well. 99% of our students in the class of 2018 who applied were accepted to at least one four-year college or university. That's amazing. So almost all of our students, most of them, if not all, do go off to various colleges and or are ready to enter the workforce. We also have amazing state and nationwide test scores if you were to look us up on the dashboard. And not only that, every PSAA senior is able to graduate with the CTE pathway completer in the arts, music, theater, or the visual arts as well. So that's something that not every high school can actually offer. So and we do, and every single senior is able to complete this as long as they follow the pattern and the course options that are available to them. So in middle school, most of our students who are currently at PSAA, most of our PSAA students do stay for high school as well. So our middle school program focuses on the exploration pathway. And then when they get to high school, we really like to focus on refinement. And so this is where you can see all of the graduation requirements. They are extensive. So I'm actually going to hand it over to Ms. Shank Tiffany, who's going to talk about the specifics of the requirements. But as you can see, we do have 270 credits that are needed to graduate, but those credits are actually because of the various arts courses that we offer. So Ms. Shank Tiffany?
Yes, so just to expand a little bit on that, we do require 270 credits, which is a lot. The typical high school is about 220. But again, the major difference there is the extra arts. And we tend to find, I was looking at seniors today, we have seniors graduating with 300 credits just because they want to take more arts classes, because they want to get as much as they can out of this experience. So our requirements do mirror and actually exceed those of the University of California and the California State University system. So essentially, if a student takes all these classes and passes them all with C- or better, they can apply to any university pretty much in the country because the California standards are so high. So as you can see, they're all listed on there. And I think we're going to talk, right, Dr. Gandhi, in the next couple of slides about the different arts areas, right?
Did you want to talk about all of the?
Yeah, I can talk about the arts courses as well. So just to show you, in a typical year, these are some of the arts courses that are available. Where you might see at a traditional high school, they just offer, maybe dance 1. We offer ballet levels 1, 2, 3, jazz dance, modern dance, tap dance. So we offer the huge variety. In the music department, we have vocal and we have instrumental, and we have the whole array of different ensembles and orchestras. So students, depending on their level, can be in an ensemble that would perform all over and compete in regional competitions, statewide competitions. In the theater department, we have acting, directing, theater production. We have an extensive stagecraft program for students who are interested in working behind the scenes of productions, the makeup, the costuming, the sound design, the lighting design. We have a wonderful visual arts department that's not just your traditional painting and drawing, but we have amazing digital arts, so digital video game design, animation. We also have additional courses. I know Mr. Dotson later, he's going to talk about our dual enrollment. So students have the opportunity to take courses through the community college. We even have a course at PSAA that is articulated. It's an audio tech music technology class. So students do receive college credit for that class by taking it at high school as well. So we have a huge array of arts classes, especially for a high school of 400 students. It's a pretty expansive list.
Yeah, and I also wanted to just add that, within our arts program, we also have 2 productions a year. We also have multiple concerts throughout the year. We also have various shows from our visual arts department. And so we're constantly showcasing our students' work because they're proud and we're proud, and we want to showcase it. Last year, before COVID, we were ready to showcase our production that we had. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we weren't able to, so we ended up turning it into a virtual show. So we're always being very creative, and that's something that we really pride ourselves on. And as Ms. Shank Tiffany shared, our students don't just take arts courses. One of the good things about being a student at PSAA is that VLA and PSAA really do work closely together. So if there's a particular class that VLA is offering in their dual enrollment program, our PSAA students are able to take that too. And so Mr. Dotson will kind of talk more about that. But we are a shared academy. We really do try to bring our students at NCS, and we try to, when they leave NCS, we really do try to make sure that they are well-rounded students as well. We offer some additional courses like AP Calculus, AP Statistics as well, honors courses, and all of our courses are A through G eligible as well. Okay, next. We also have an extensive P4A arts program, which is basically our Parents for the Arts. It's our parents club. These are our boosters, and so they play an important role at PSAA. It's not like your traditional, parents club. They are involved. They are important stakeholders. They are part of our decision-making process as well. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Dotson.
Thank you. So again, I guess you guys are getting a little bit of a taste of what it's like to be a student this year, sitting on the Zoom call. So we appreciate you hanging in there with us this evening. So again, I am the Academy Coordinator at the Virtual Learning Academy. Next slide. We are a rigorous college prep, a hybrid program. We're actually one of just a very small number statewide of course-based independent studies. And what that means, and I think it can be, it's a different concept, and it can be somewhat intimidating if you're coming from a traditional middle school, elementary school experience. But the beauty with our schedule is students do not have to be on campus from 8 to 3:30, 5 days a week. In a normal year, about 60% of the course curriculum, course content is given through Schoology. And that really, if you can kind of contextualize the speaking or the lecture that would happen in a normal classroom, that is what is typically done online. And so when kids come to campus, it's hands-on, really solidifying the learning concepts. It's these hands-on workshops. I do also want to point out that we are living now, in this COVID era. And I think something that speaks to a lot of the work our staff has done is that our model has not changed at all. We shifted everything online. It has stayed in this online format consistently. Our workshop schedules remain the same. And a lot of our families in this current environment have really noted how that consistency has been helpful for them. What's great though, and again, I think it's somewhat foreign and intimidating, is like, well, what do I do if my kid doesn't have a workshop? What do I do at that other time where they don't have to be on campus? So every student gets an academic coach who they work with. They meet with them twice a month, once as a whole grade level. Frequently, Mr. Juarez and Ms. Shank Tiffany will pop into those grade level meetings and talk about kind of larger structural things that need to be in place. Or it will be a one-on-one meeting with the academic coach, just seeing how are they progressing through VLA. And so at those one-on-one meetings or in the large group meetings, they'll talk about how to fill that additional time. So for example, we had some sophomores when we were open and kids were coming to campus 3 days a week. They were there full days, 8 to 3:30 while we were open. They would go to workshops, and the time they weren't in workshops, they were working on their independent work in our learning center. The other 2 days a week, the student was getting dropped off in an internship. We had a high school senior last year who completed over 36 college units, was able to start taking college classes as a freshman. And so you could start to think and really have some ideas of what you could fill your high school experience with with that flexible schedule. We recognize that that is a lot, especially on a 14-year-old starting off. And so we start off with all students in a study skills class. We also, freshmen do tend to be on campus about 4 days a week, while as a senior, you can be on campus even less. Next slide. Again, with that structure in place, VLA students are really doing college. I mean, they're organizing themselves. Again, you have the opportunity to take college classes, which I'll talk about in the next slide. And what we found is that by the time students get to graduation, they're outperforming their peers in state and national assessments. They're getting into rigorous colleges. They tend to be pretty successful when they get there. And so another piece that I think is unique with VLA is because we are so small and inclusive. It was on the first slide. We have about 125 students total. We have a wait list. We have been potentially expanding due to the increased interest with the shift to distance learning. But with that being said, students are really interacting. It's not uncommon that you'll walk in the Learning Center as a freshman sit next to a senior. If kids want to start their own club, they have the opportunity to do that. And so all of our student clubs are student driven. Another fantastic thing, as Ms. Gandhi noted, is students can take PFA classes if it aligns with their schedule. And it tends to be a lot easier for our VLA students just because of that flexible schedule. So we have a lot of students, again, that if it works with their schedule, will go over to PFA and do the arts and dance and those courses over there. Whereas we tend to see PFA students coming over for the dual enrollment and those upper level classes, AP Calc, as Ms. Gandhi had talked about. Next slide. Again, very much the same requirements, everything that Ms. Gandhi, Ms. Shank, Tiffany talked about to graduate. The only difference is we do not require that CTE pathway for the arts electives. You'll notice at VLA, only 1 full year of art is required to graduate. So that's why we have the 220 credits to graduate at VLA. Again, same thing, all courses are UC A to G approved. Next slide. All right, so dual enrollment is something we are very, very excited about. And again, the flexible schedule that VLA has allows students to take more of these ARC classes. And so when you look at the whole scope of VLA, freshmen are enrolled in a study skills class, really focused on fundamentals, how to do VLA, how to organize yourself, use Google Drive, really just a crash course, everything, just basic high school learning. Then the goal is that every one of our sophomores are enrolled in a 3-unit college success course in their first semester of sophomore year. And really after that point, students can take up to 2 college classes or potentially more per semester. And what has been fantastic with ARC, and this is great for all NCS, is the way that they're doing dual enrollment is they're really kind of lumping together all these high school courses now, which means there's greater access. So there's more courses that are available to our students. And so while we don't have IB or AP courses, we have a select number of AP classes. What we do have is the opportunity to take college classes free of charge. You don't have to pay for textbooks, and you get the support of an NCS instructor. You have the chance to get very close with advanced ed to, in addition to taking some course over summer, very close to actually knocking out all of your IGETC requirements, those general ed requirements for a 4-year university. And I think that's something that is really a big niche that we have and a great opportunity. The other thing, again, we have the college issue, the college opportunities. We have the small inclusive environment, but we still act like, we have typical large high school events. Thanks to PFA, we have students that can go and participate in homecoming, can participate in PFA clubs. And so I just think back to pre-pandemic, our homecoming, we had like over 300 students at it. And so even though NCS is small, we put on a good show. And what's awesome is the kids really get to really build some culture and take the lead on that. Next slide.
Yeah. And if I just may add to it that between both of our academies, even though we don't have a sports team, we still have homecoming, we have Charter Bowl, and it's a collaboration between both academies. So, and it's a powerful thing of being at NCS.
And to that point, I guess I do want to make that also maybe known that we've aligned our schedules to increase that collaboration. So we share a lunch period and we share 7th and 8th period. And so that's why a lot of those dual enrollment classes end up being during 7th and 8th period, that elective time at PFA. So PFA students can also participate. So applications are live. The deadline for that is Friday, February 19th. At 4 p.m. We always encourage families to apply to both programs. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt your chances. And then really from there, you can kind of make a decision. In a normal year, PFAA does tend to have a much longer wait list than VLA. I will say that last year we had a wait list, and I anticipate we will again this year. So the sooner that you apply, the better. All lottery preferences can be found on our website. It's kind of nitty gritty there and some particulars. So, if you're curious about that, I would encourage you to go to the website. And then Ms. Gandhi?
And so high school auditions are scheduled when the application is completed. So when you come in for your intake process, you will get a paper that will give you all of the information for your auditions, your date, your time. It will be very different this year because of COVID. So you won't actually be coming onto campus to audition. You will just submit something to our website, which you'll get more information when you come in for your intake meeting. I do want to make it very, very clear. The audition process it should not be intimidating. Our goal is to see, are you interested in the arts? I'm not a dancer. I'm not a person who can go up on stage, but I'm interested in it and I love it. And so you don't have to be amazing. You don't have to be out, taking private lessons or anything. The questions you want to ask yourself is, do I enjoy the arts? Do I want to be at a school that's safe? And do I want to be at a school where I'm going to be cared for and supported? And do I want to be challenged as well? And that's what we pride ourselves on. So please do not be intimidated by the word auditions. It is not an actual audition. We just want to know, what are you interested in, and what particular skills do you have, so that we can place you appropriately in your courses. And so we hopefully will see you soon. And I think our next slide.
So a couple really good questions popped up in the chat regarding the application process. So yes, you can apply for both programs at the same time. Typically, you have a little less than a week. You'll get a call and it'll say, you've been accepted at this program, and do you want a spot? And if you get into both, that will come up. You've been accepted to both. And at that point, you will need to choose. So the question came up is, can a student, if it doesn't work out at VLA, can they just transfer over to PFAA? Yes, kind of. So if there is space available. Now, there is never space available for freshmen, and there is always a wait list. And so if a student starts at VLA, I would say that you're probably going to finish the year at VLA. You do get some preference that if you want to then reapply, you are then put into the wait list to go to PFAA. It's a new lottery the next year.
Yeah, and I just want to add to what Mr. Dotson said, that if you apply to VLA and you get accepted to VLA, you would need to reapply and re-enter the process again. So it's not an automatic transfer. And I'm going to be fully honest and fully transparent that, typically speaking, our ninth grade class is not a class that really has any room. And after students are accepted, typically speaking, if there's going to be ever any room, there would be room in the upper level courses. I'm sorry, not courses, upper level grades, but we wouldn't really do a transfer mid-year unless we had room. So we would ask you to reapply the next year.
And I've gotten the question numerous times. I didn't see it in the chat, but I know a lot of families have asked about kind of the unique program VLA, like what kind of student is successful there. It certainly helps to be an independent learner. But with that being said, the structure is that we try and provide so much support and intervention early on that we're going to hopefully build those skills. But understanding that, at least 60% of your week is done independently. Other questions. So how many students will be accepted to PFAA? Ms. Gandhi.
Yes, so that's a great question. Unfortunately, we don't know that, and the reason we don't know that is because it's based off of how many of our 8th grade students are not going to stay at PFAA. Typically, though, on average, we have about 40 to 50 seats. Most of our students do stay at PFAA that are in 8th grade. That is the advantage of coming to the middle school program and then continuing on with high school. However, we do also have a portion of students who leave and go to VLA after they're done with our middle school program, or they go off to IB programs at Intercom. So it's not, PFAA is definitely not for everyone. But I think we do provide an environment for everyone. So typically about 40 to 50 seats. Last year, we accepted about 45.
And for VLA, our number is typically around 50. Again, that's kind of the max that we will have in. Looking at the numbers just this week, I'll say we're approaching that number already. So fully anticipate that there will be a wait list, and would encourage you guys to apply as soon as possible. How many families applied for the PFA 9th grade last year, approximately?
So we had approximately 200 students apply, and then they entered the lottery process, and then from there we accepted about 45.
And the whole application is online. It can be found just on the Natomas Charter School main page. And from there, you would go in. If you fill it out for PFAA, it will pre-populate, but you actually do have to do 2 separate applications. You'll go back through the process twice. Does anyone have any other questions? Looks like we answered the CTE correct questions. Could maybe Ms. Shank, Tiffany, or Mr. Juarez answer? There was a question of, what is a CT pathway, and or maybe like what is the benefit of that? Because I know that that's a big part of PFAA. So could one of you maybe address that?
Actually, Seema, do you want to, or I can talk about it. Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk about it. You're the academic counselor.
Okay, so the CTE completer pathway is basically saying that students have completed a rigorous study and as she mentioned, it's entertainment, arts, media. And so we've developed some pathways, meaning sequence of courses in the 4 different arts areas. So visual arts, music, dance, and drama. And so based on that, students have basically received, the fundamental coursework that they need to be successful if they decide to go on and further their studies. I know some questions have come up about that in the chat. So the vast majority though of our students do not pursue the arts as a career, but they love the arts, and I would say it makes them, better doctors, better scientists, better lawyers, because they can think creatively and they can find solutions. And our students find, I was just speaking with a graduate who went off to study astrophysics, and she was telling me the other day, she graduated 2 years ago, and she was just talking about how all the creativity that was developed in her drama class, she's using in her physics classes now. And so I think that's something to consider. But by far, the vast majority of students are not going to study the arts professionally, or they may do it in their spare time, or it's just, that kind of thing. Did you want to add? Sorry, go ahead.
Thank Tiffany. I just wanted to add that, and then for the seniors on their diploma, if they complete the CTE pathway, they get a little special seal on their diploma as well. And I just wanted to add to what Ms. Shank Tiffany said also, that currently we have one of our distance learning facilitators who was a student at a PFAA who did not pursue the arts. He has come back and wants to be a teacher. We have a different facilitator who was also a student here at PFAA or at NCS, and then went off to Cornell and is currently a senior at Cornell, but is taking a year off. And so they're working as a distance learning facilitator, and they're applying for possibly some jobs in the medical field. So you really, PFAA if you're interested in the arts, I definitely encourage you to apply. You don't have to pursue the arts. Like I said, I'm not a dancer. I'm not, a actor, but I enjoy the arts. I enjoy going to productions and seeing those things, and that's what inspires me, and that's why you should come to PSAA, because it really engages you in a different way in your mind, and it brings out that creativity that you may not get at a traditional school. And so please don't be discouraged to apply if you don't feel as though you are a dancer or an artist. Everybody is a dancer, everybody is an artist. You just have to dig deep to find that part of you.
And to that point, as Ms. Gandhi pointed out, you can still get in PSAA if you're not the best dancer, the best artist. It does not determine, the audition does not determine if you are going to get into PSAA or not. Ms. Gandhi, we had a question about priority 3. I put in the lottery policy. And priority 3 in terms of the lottery preference is specific for PSAA. Applicants for performing and fine arts who score in the top 15% of the audition criteria will receive priority 3.
So the actual priorities have been modified a little bit due to COVID. So what will happen is that all students will, when they come and do their intake meeting, after they do their intake meeting, they will all receive the audition criteria that they need to do, and they will pick which arts discipline that they want to focus on, and they can submit a video, they can submit a personal statement, they can submit pictures. There are multiple different ways to audition, and the audition isn't actually in person. It is just via the computer. And what I mean by via the computer, you will be submitting via Google Drive or a Google form your video or your personal statement or your pictures or your artwork. And so once you do that, then all of the students who audition, and by audition I mean you are just submitting these documents or submitting a video, will be entered into a lottery. And from there we will pick the top 15%, and then everybody, they will get that preference. So they will get the audition preference. It will still be a lottery, but they will get that preference. Then once they get that preference, then all the students who have applied will all enter into the NCS lottery. So just to clarify one more time, everybody will that chooses to audition, and by audition you are submitting something that's a video, pictures, personal statement, whatever you decide to submit from the different options that are provided to you at the intake meeting. You will submit your audition. Everybody who submits the audition, doesn't matter how good or if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. Please submit something. All of those students will be entered into the lottery for the audition preference. And then once they're entered into that lottery, we will pick the top 15, all lottery based. And then those students will get the preference. Those families will be contacted as well, letting them know that they've received the audition preference, and then all students will be entered into the NCS lottery. I hope that explains it. If not, you can email me and I can clarify more about that as well.
Yep. Awesome. I see a couple more questions regarding lottery preference. I would just also encourage you guys, as Ms. Gandhi pointed out, to reach out to either of us directly. During the intake process, they will talk more about that as well. 15% is not of like a specific focus area. It is of total applicants. So I know that was a clarification in there. I don't see any other questions at this time. Before we log off, I just again wanted to ask, is there a couple final questions? Yep.
There's actually an important question about intake. So the intake process for PSAA is virtual, and I believe it's the same at VLA as well.
Yep, correct. And again, all applications are live. We'd encourage you to apply to both academies and do so as soon as possible since they are both filling up. All right. Well, with that, we want to again thank all of you for joining us this evening. We are sorry that it wasn't in person, and we look forward to getting back together once all of this is over. So thank you, everyone. And again, if you need further clarification, you can also visit our website or view this video on our YouTube page. Thank you. Have a
Thank
great evening.
you.